So good evening and welcome to Sugden Road for the resumption of the Men's England Hockey Premier League Top 6 competition. So here we've got Surbiton against Oxted. And I'm joined in the commentary box by a rather injured Nick Nurse at the moment. So he's been co-opted in to co-commentate.
Thank you for having me.
We'll see how the game goes.
Yeah, exciting to be back for the second half of the season.
Yeah, and the good news is it's a lot warmer tonight than it has been for any of the other games, so you've picked the right evening.
Yeah, it is. Good to be on the spectator side today.
There we go, Oxford getting the game underway.
Tough start for Stuart Walker there. Going to be an interesting one this evening. Good to see Oxted in the top 6.
Yeah, it's great. So I think they qualified with a 5-1 win against Richmond at the end of the season. 1-0 there. Jake Payton, I think, was the scorer.
Bagel's back on form, back from India, scoring 2 goals.
Picking up where he left off.
Yeah,
he's in the FIH Pro League.
He's really bringing some form at the moment.
So I think that must have been one of the quickest goals we've seen, about 20 seconds.
Yeah, he's been on really good form since joining Surbiton and making his way into the England programme.
So I think he was one of your colleagues at Exeter, wasn't he?
He was, and at school before that, so I've lived with him for about 5 years, so
right.
Great to see him doing really well.
Yeah, what a good start.
Nice backhand into the bottom right.
So the game earlier in the season here ended up 4-2 to Surbiton. I think you probably played in that game, didn't you?
I did. I think we played very well that evening, actually. That was a tough evening for Oxted.
I think they got one back right at the end, Owen Williamson with a penalty corner.
Yeah, I remember that game well, actually. We played well. I think we played quite a intense game of hockey which Oxted sometimes struggle to keep up with, as you just seen from that first 20 seconds. But we'll see how it goes tonight.
And I think there's quite a lot of, I was going to say, not necessarily cooperation between Oxted and Surbiton, but I think there's quite a lot of connections, aren't there? Obviously, you've got Connor Williamson on one side and Owen, his brother, on the Oxted side. Yeah. Owen played a lot of his junior hockey here.
You've also got Charlie Axford, who played at Nottingham with Connor. Yeah. I know a few of them a few of the Oxted boys work with some of our Surbiton boys at schools and stuff, and have done. So yeah, there definitely is a bit of crossover. And
I think there's also, so Ollie Bennett at the moment is playing his senior hockey here in the Premier League division for Oxted, but he actually plays his junior hockey for Surbiton. Yeah. So I think they've got a big game coming up next week. The Surbiton under-18s are in the semi-final of the national Tier 1 competition. That's against Repton, so that'll be a big game. And then the other one that I announced when I announced the teams here at the game is that Rory Wallace is on the bench for Oxted tonight. So that's the younger brother of Zach Wallace. Yeah.
Making his debut tonight.
Making his Prem debut.
How old is he now? 16, 15?
I think he's about 15 or 16.
That's
so he's still at Caterham School, yeah. But it's great to see youngsters coming through.
Yeah, very young. Good to see the talent coming through Oxted. Good to see Charlie Axford will be going at every decision as he usually does every night.
He's a great character. So I know him from university days, and one of the funniest things he ever said to me was, I think it was on the day that he graduated. He was saying that in his family he's considered the weakest sports person because he's got an older sister who runs for Great Britain.
Yeah,
and does
she
superb
was at university
and does 10Ks and half marathons and is superb. And of course, Maddie Axford, his younger sister, has made a debut for as a hockey international as well, having previously, I think, been a lacrosse international.
Yeah, wow.
So I think his comment is there are no photos of him in his house.
Good to see that Tim Nurse has moved back into halfback, having played the first half of the season in high midfield, which is interesting to see. He obviously plays there for England and Great Britain, so he's moved back there for Surbiton now, which will be interesting to see how he gets on this season, which I'm sure with flying colours as usual.
Was that right on cue that he drove the ball down that side?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great to welcome some of the, a number of the internationals. I think when I last added it up, it's about 9 internationals had been away.
Yeah. Oh, that is excellent hockey.
Really good hockey there. Just not quite finished off. But it does make Barry and Andy Watts' job as coaches difficult, not having a full squad.
Yeah, it's been difficult. I say that. It's been a... I don't know if difficult is the right word, but maybe a challenging January and February pre-season before coming into this second half of the season, just from the lack of numbers. But luckily, as you mentioned, our junior section is really strong with a lot of the twos boys stepping up, such as Will Haspel, Ollie Stone, Jack Hobkirk, who help the training group who's not in the international scene.
Yeah, and I think that's good. I mean, it was interesting just before we came on the pitch here. So the Surbiton men's twos played Spencer today, and that was a first v third game in East Conference, so also in the National League. It ended up Surbiton 2s 3, Spencer 1. So it just shows the strength in depth as a club.
Yeah, and it's definitely increasing all the time, isn't it? That's got to be a corner.
That car alarm is going off. I didn't know whether you were doing that.
Tell them Mike. So just had a bit of an interruption there. Someone was saying that a car alarm was going off in the car park and wondering if we could make an announcement. But I think most people that are watching the live stream, it would be a bit far for them to come and turn the car alarm off. I think we'll try and do something locally. It's a lovely mild evening here in Surrey. Surbiton have started well, another attack. Rob Farrington picking the ball up in the circle. Good save. Good save there, Robbie McLennan playing in goal tonight for Oxted.
I think the boys are going to be putting in a bit of extra efforts now after we played Richmond on Tuesday night and suffered a little 3-2 defeat in obviously a pre-season game, which is a lot different, but you can see we've come out pretty quick tonight, trying to get across our counter-attacking style of hockey.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I mean, I was fortunate enough to I umpired that game, and it was, it was a competitive game, and credit to Richmond, who my sense is they've improved as their first season in Premier Division has gone on. And they certainly fought hard on Tuesday night.
Yeah.
But it was interesting then to watch training on Thursday night that seemed to have a much more intensity to it.
Yeah, probably a bit of a spark to.
And the guys have started very positively. Long ball there from Connor Williamson, finding his international colleague Jake Payton, who's already scored one great goal this evening. Top scorer at the moment for Surbiton on 17 goals is Struan Walker. I think had a good time over in Oman with Scotland, where they managed to win that tournament.
Yeah, he's had a good January and February as well, being in India for the Indian Hockey League, which I think he said was a great experience, and then going to Oman and scoring a few goals out there, so yeah, he's doing well.
Yeah, I think as well as James Mazzarello in goal, I think Gareth Furlong also played in that Premier League, didn't he?
Yeah, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if a few more of the boys get taken out this time next year for that as well. Interesting start to the game, really feels like. Surbiton have got control on and off the ball.
That was a bit scrappy, wasn't it? You decide who lifted that. So Enku Davis, the umpire at that end, made his decision. Owen Williamson getting the ball back into play. Ollie Bennett on the ball.
Could see Max Anderson as well, number 5 for Surbiton. Back out. He's now moved up to more of an attacking position for Surbiton, where he has been playing more of a halfback, but he's
another of those Nottingham uni boys, isn't he? I think he's on a gap year at the moment.
Yeah, he's living with me. He's on his placement year. Actually played Bucks. Oh, great save.
James Mazzarello quickly off his line there, but an opportunity there for number 10, Jameson. Ollie Bennett.
Okay.
A lot of experience there from Johnny Gall.
Extremely solid player, very much solid.
Mr. Reliable, isn't he?
He is.
There's his brother, Jama Gall. Well, good step there from Owen Williamson to pick the ball up. And turnover now. Stewie Rushmere playing the ball in.
Oh.
The ball came off the inside of the post, but it had gone over the line for a 16. Bit more space now, connection into that final third. Good defending from Luke Taylor with the help of Colin Williamson and Barry Middleton, who still at the age of 39 or 40 seems to crop up in the right place most of the time.
Yeah. I think he's a little bit older, but I won't tell him that myself.
Okay. I think that might harm your selection.
Yeah. Although he's probably the fittest around 40-year-old. A lot of us will know.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how many of the current team are as fit as Barry at 40.
I think that's quite a simple answer to that question. No.
So Surbiton trying to press the ball in the corner, try and keep it there. Oxted remaining calm on the ball, coming away with the free hit. So we're into the last 5 minutes of this first quarter. So you were saying earlier about Tim Nurse changing position. I can also see out here Nick Park. He's probably playing a little bit higher than he did earlier in the season.
Yes, and obviously probably a bit different when you see them play for England and Great Britain. Parky plays a bit more of a attacking midfield position for Surbiton compared to the halfback, which he probably better known for is his position. But I think it allows us to play with a bit more speed and
so
directness.
When you talk about Nick Park, you're definitely talking about speed, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
So Martin Twist, the umpire, signalling long corner. Let's turn that over. Got a feeling that your mate Charlie Axford might have said something there.
Yeah. As I might have predicted earlier in the start of the quarter.
So not to say something that's too upsetting, but were you playing in that game for Exeter when he scored that goal that he picked up from the halfway line and ran all the way down one side along the back and then put it in the goal?
I think I was standing on the back post when that went in. Luckily he wasn't my man. That's a great takedown from
If any of you want to go and have a look on YouTube, you might find a rather good goal. So it looks like that was forced in by Stewie Rushmere.
Yeah, a bit of a breakdown of play in the middle of the circle, but Surbiton first at every single one of those 50-50 balls.
So number 17, Stewie Rushmere with the second goal. First goal came after about 20 seconds.
Just looking at that play a little bit more, it just shows how Luke Taylor is so threatening, being able to throw a 50-yard aerial into James Gould, great receipt, and just playing that into the circle just means it's so threatening.
I think that's the point with the aerials, isn't it? It's not just the length and that you're throwing the aerial, it's the accuracy.
Yeah. And to be fair, the takedown of the aerials from that sort of height is not an easy skill, and then to be able to play like that, it just shows the quality. So
interestingly, I saw, I think in all likelihood, that sort of aerial ball, the rule is under consideration. And I think for the remaining FIH Pro League games, and also potentially in the EHL, which I know Surbiton will be involved in, that rule about the aerial ball is going to be changed along the lines that you can engage once that first touch is made by the receiver, which I think will clarify things. Because at the moment, the rule says that the ball's got to be received and on the ground. Under control.
Great play from James Gould there, just again, slowing up.
That's a superb double save there by the Oxford goalkeeper, Robbie McLennan. So we're into the last 2 minutes of this quarter, a long corner to Oxford. Surbiton let that run over the back line. And there we go. End of the first quarter. Surbiton 2, Oxford 0. So I think during the off-season between Christmas and this resumption, did you get yourself involved in the indoor programme?
Yeah. It was a good indoor for us. Well, we were in Div 1 for this indoor 2025 season. Managed to win 8 from 8 to get ourselves back into the...
Back where you belong in the Premier League.
I think so.
Premier Division. So that'll be a good thing to look forward to next year. And my sense is the boys are all going to be encouraged to participate in that next year as a full programme.
Yeah, definitely. I think we had a pretty good team. I think when you saw 4 or 5 Olympians rock up to Div 1 indoor, it didn't quite seem right. So nice to be back in the Prem next year. We should have a good squad and a good turnout to push on. Yeah,
and certainly that competition looked great, didn't it? You know, the old Georgians winning it. I think Wimbledon playing really well as well. East Grinstead, who've got a long tradition at indoor hockey, played very well. It'd be nice to get involved in that. And I think then the old Georgians went out to Europe and managed to win their tournament out there as well.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, so they're flying the flag for England at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah.
Hopefully not for too much longer.
So after tonight's games, the men's ones have got 2 more home games. I think one here against Holcombe, and then the big game against Old Georgians on Sunday, the 23rd of March. So you're looking forward to that one? You think it'll be fit?
Yeah, back next week. So hopefully back in for the team for those few games.
Available for selection.
Available for selection. Yeah. Got a key bit coming up in the season, building into EHL in Easter weekend against Kampong in our first game in Den Bosch.
Yeah, so looking on paper, that could have been kinder to you, couldn't it? Having won the, having managed to qualify from the KO 16 competition here earlier in the year, so it was October time, to then get a KO 8 game against Kampong. And the potential then that the winner of that
most likely to play
Bloomingdale. That seems quite a tough route through the competition.
Yeah, it's tough, but I suppose that top 8 teams in Europe is always going to be tough, isn't it? So
yeah, and that's how it should be. It's the equivalent of Champions League for hockey, isn't it?
It is, yeah. No, it's good to see. It's probably one of the best tournaments that we have, isn't there? So in the club game especially, so yeah, it's going to be a good weekend. Yeah,
it'd be great. And of course the Surbiton ladies will be out there as well. I think their first game is the day before yours. They play Slavia Prague in that first game.
Great play from Surbiton.
Is that Max Anderson showing his pace down the right hand side?
Yeah, he's absolutely electric when he gets going. I think our counter attack with Jake, Max, Tim, Parky, pretty hard to keep up with when they're going at full speeds.
Barry just slotting in at the back here. Luke Taylor on the ball. As you mentioned earlier, it's that range of passing, isn't it, from Luke?
Yeah. I think we've got a really good balance at the moment between that sort of speed and control, which we're just trying to almost perfect to just get the sort of tempo of the game right, which we started well.
That's another superb save by the Oxted goalie. As I say, it's Robbie McLennan in goal tonight.
If I'm not mistaken, I think he is a Kiwi who's come over for this season or maybe a few seasons. Yeah, clearly a good keeper. Started well tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's
tough job.
2 or 3 outstanding saves already in this first half.
Great role.
Oxted on the attack. All the way through. Just got a deflection off James Mazzarello before it went in the goal. Right, it's a long corner. Obviously it can't be a goal because it wasn't touched by an Oxted player in the circle.
Well, I think that's a tough decision. Very much 50-50, but...
See, as an expert summariser, you're allowed to say that. I've got to stay a little bit impartial.
Yeah. So I should probably keep more of an impartial opinion when you're on camera. I think that's always going to the attacker, though, that decision.
Yeah. So James Mazzarello called into action, reorganising his defenders. I know the boys certainly do their homework on what their running lines are and what their plans are.
Yeah, well,
we'll see.
Is Nick Park on the pitch? Luckily we have.
So it looks like Ollie Bennett on this first castle and Owen Williamson on the far castle. Tom Finnegan to inject.
Great running from Parky. Yeah, I was just about to say, not to blow smoke up Parky, but he's one of the better #1 runners in the world. It's going to be tough to get to that left side of Maz today.
So the rear ward.
Great slip.
Yeah, round the back. Ollie Bennett. Oxted pull a goal back.
That'd be disappointing. It was tough to see whether that was going wide and it hit our postman before it was going in, but I think that was just sliding in. Very good routine from Oxted, very slick. Back to 2-1.
Ball just running out of play. Oxted sideline. Aerial ball again.
Great receive.
As you can see on that aerial, the ball was thrown. Both players were in motion, but the player can take the ball cleanly in front.
Yeah, it's as you said earlier, it's a very contentious area of the game, really, at the moment. But it's also a key part, especially at high-level hockey, being utilised to. Yeah.
Nick Park on the ball, playing the ball down the line. Just couldn't quite keep it in.
Oxted going to a big back three there, keeping themselves quite exposed, but
a lot of composure on the ball from Bennett there.
very good from Connor there. Talking about composure.
Yeah, it's sometimes the hockey stick looks like a wand in his hand. And some of the things he does with it are pretty magic.
Yeah, he plays just like his personality, very chilled out, and you wouldn't think there's a stress in the world, really.
Adam Buckle running strongly.
Great tackle.
Great tackle there by Tom Finnegan. So those two were both at Whitgift together, so they know each other well.
See, when Buckle gets going down that baseline, it's a tough one to, well, one to umpire and one to stop, really, because he is seriously quick and tough to slow down when he's running at that sort of speeds. But that's a very good tackle, because that can easily go the other way if you get that slightly wrong.
Yeah, I think after Whitgift, Tom Finnegan went to Loughborough University. Had a good sort of 4 or 5 years there, and then came back to Oxted, which was where he played before he went to university. So to being patient. I shouldn't have said that.
Very good defending there. A lot tougher than it looks, that sort of.
Yeah. not only to get your feet in the right position, but to control the stick. Barry using all his experience there. Seen on the Oxted side, number 28, Rory Wallace has joined the game in the circle.
Good challenge.
It's the turnover and then the pace of the counter.
Ooh, it's a horrible challenge as well.
Might be a card coming there. I wouldn't be surprised.
Great ball.
Great advantage as well.
It's got to be a stroke. I personally would think that should be a stroke, but maybe harsher giving that as
so the good news now, and of course on the live stream, is you can pause the live stream and rewind it and have a look at it numerous times.
And tell that I'm always right.
One of the challenges for umpires now is, instead of having a conversation after the game in the bar about what's happened, you get the players arrive in the bar and show you the video of exactly what happened. Yeah.
Great setup from our press there, just been working on that, sort of setting it up, playing towards our game, which is our counter-attack hockey. Because of our quick players, Jake Payton winning that, and then you got likes of Max Anderson, Jake Smith running off them. Kind of sets it up.
So with Luke Taylor off the pitch, we've got Gareth Furlong.
And Stu Rushmere for the bunt. Slight mistrap at the top of the circle.
Yeah, I think it was scrappy, and sometimes that helps. You get the opportunity to score goals on some of those scrappy ones, but not on this occasion.
Oxted are enjoying going to this big back sort of 3 shape, even back 2 at times, which is interesting because it is setting them up for these sort of situations where there's big counter-attacks and they don't have many men back, which could open them up, especially later in the game. That's twice now where they've gone to that big back 2.
And then turn the ball over.
And then we're counter-attacking with 3v2s, and it's just leaving them very exposed. So it'll be interesting whether they see to maybe drop back into a back 4 once they've had a bit more of a chat. Like now if they lose the ball, they've got a lot more numbers to be able to counter defend with, but before, with only a 2, it's really tough for them.
Great skills there from Charlie Axford.
So even now you see a really little counter cover if Surbiton seem to win the ball here.
Trying to feed the ball through the top of the circle.
Great win. Oxted playing a sort of 3-4-3 zone or big pockets, which Surbiton seems to be playing through quite nicely at the moment. You see there with Stu Rushmere, but
as well as getting 2 goals. I mean, Surbiton have had a number of chances where the ball's been bouncing around in that Oxted D.
Feels like we've played quite quickly. Oxted have actually had more of the solid sort of build-up possession. We've been playing more of that counter-attack, go hockey, which is the way we like to play, I guess. With that.
Is that the style that Barry's working on?
Yeah, I think so. We very much look to play with the players we have, without sounding silly, but you sort of just you've got to go let them play with the likes of the quality we have. Don't want to give too much structure on the ball, that is.
So laying the ball off there, Adam Buckle, and then getting ahead. So into the last 4 minutes of this quarter. Still 2-1 to Surbiton. The game's flowed quite well, actually.
Yeah. Most of the game's really been played in this.
Such a clean take there by Connor Williamson. Oxted did well to win the ball back and just couldn't quite control it. Ball out to Gareth Furlong over on the far side now.
Yep.
Surbiton being patient.
Very fluid at the back there. Johnny Gould slots into that full-back position quite well. Connor stepping into midfield. See number 27. Great receive, looking forward.
You've got a lot of international experience in that back line. Obviously, Luke Taylor not playing internationally anymore, but had a long international career.
Yeah. Great trap.
So we're into the last 2 minutes of this second quarter. Superb
Great
backhand ball there by Connor Williamson. Adam Buckle looking for space to shoot.
Great vision from Connor. Felt like a quick first half, really. It's gone. I feel like a lot of the game's been played in the middle section of the pitch.
Yeah, my sense is the umpires haven't really had to intervene. The game's flowed. You know, there have obviously been decisions to make, but great return there. Shot there from Ollie Bennett, just showing his undoubted ability. So, in summary, how do you think the first half's? What would your summary of the first half be?
Yeah, I'd say Surbiton definitely deserved to be on top. Oxted trying to play that big back two shape, as I said, has almost opened them up to counter-attack, but on the flip side can allow them to have more numbers in the circle, which I think has affected the game. But I do think Surbiton definitely deserved to be 2-1 up. Interesting first half. Not too aggressive, I wouldn't say, from this. I know the game Oxted versus Surbiton usually is. But yeah, no, good first half.
Yeah, a good first half. So 2-1 to Surbiton. Goals from Jake Payton and Stewie Rushmere.
Yeah. back for the second half. Welcome back, everyone. Second half, 2-1 to Surbiton against Oxted. So, see how the second half goes. Interesting first half. Welcome to all Surbiton fans. And off we go. Great start from Surbiton. Down that right side. Oh! Great ball in. James Gould needed more of a baseball back there. Well out from Oxted there. Releasing a bit of pressure. Welcome back to Glyn.
So Nick Park out on that right hand side.
Great ball in.
Great ball in from Johnny Gould. Just transferring it around the back and changing the point of attack and finding that way into the circle.
Oxted still opting to play this sort of big change of shape to a back two, which I'm interested to see they're still doing. I didn't think it was too successful. It seems so open now. If they lose the ball in these situations, as I was saying in the first half, that need to pick counter-attacks.
It's a marvellous steal there by Struan Walker.
Right in front of the commentary box. Good speed. Ball on Surbiton stick in the circle. Cross. Struan Walker in.
Struan Walker gets his goal. Now on 18 goals so far this season.
He can relax now. Good work from Surbiton in the circle, getting the ball in to the goal mouth. Struan Walker always there to tap it in.
So as in the first half, they come out of the blocks quickly.
Yeah.
I was looking before this game. Oddly, Surbiton have managed to score 4 goals in the 13th, 34th and 70th minute of games. So towards the end of quarters and towards the end of matches.
Ooh,
tonight they've managed to score a couple of goals really early in quarters.
Great turn from Jake.
That's unlucky, just couldn't quite connect with Nick Park there. Some lovely player game by Jake Payton.
Yeah, he's looking dangerous at the moment. Good to see. Yeah. Seeing that situation, that's a Surbiton ball every day because there's too many people in that area.
That's right, and they're both moving towards the ball.
Great win back in the circle from Jake. Oh, swing and a miss.
It was there.
Yeah, that's probably why I beat him on the golf course last week.
It's Jarvis on the ball.
Mike Royden Turner, I think that is.
That's right.
He's come over from South Africa 2 or 3 years ago. Good player. Made a good mark. I think he made his way into the under-21 Great Britain squad.
Did he have to have a period before he qualified, or?
I think I want to say one of his parents is English.
Great.
I could be completely wrong there, but he didn't, because I remember he came straight over from South Africa and came into a few training sessions we were having. So I think I want to say that's true. Definitely one family member.
Talking of the international hockey, so England GB announced this week, I think, that Zach Jones will take on the role of head coach for the men's teams.
Yeah, he was interim head coach and taking it on to full-time now.
Yeah, so he started that interim role in September. And he's done the first couple of blocks of Pro League games.
Which I think have been pretty successful. Quite a young team. Gone out there. Lots of boys who have been in the under-21s and pushed on to seniors.
And it's interesting to see that, isn't it? Because we're even finding it's a bit like the football, isn't it? You know, when you have the success at those age group levels, and then manage to keep, you know, a core of that group together.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you definitely saw that more with the age groups of Nick Park and Tim Nurse and Stu Rushmere. They had a very, very successful like junior under-21 careers in Malaysia and Euros and
Is
things.
that the Sultan of Johor tournament?
Yeah. Whereas my age group with Jake, it's definitely seen less people make it through into that seniors, but I suppose it's still very early days. We're still only 21, 22, so you can't really call that yet, I wouldn't say.
And you were saying earlier, so Max Anderson, who's in the Surbiton lineup today, number 5, he was out there, I think, with the 21s this year, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's only 20, so he was out in Malaysia where they won it, which they did well this year. Yeah, I think they beat India in the final.
So you're saying that England team been successful in the Pro League, currently sitting joint top of the standings. And then they've got a whole series of home matches in June to look forward to.
Ollie Bennett's been one of Oxted's better backline players today, really pushing that team forward from their sort of outlet position. They played some young guy.
Yeah, so I think he's a sixth former at Whitgift School. Another of the long line of Whitgift production line from Carl Stagno's hockey programme.
Machine. Surbiton seem quite deep here. Needs to stretch the pitch a little bit more, I think. See Barry making all the way up into that forward position.
It'll be interesting to see if, as the game goes on, in Oxted, quite a lot of running around in that first half.
Great win. Yeah, it's interesting because they're also playing in their zone, which obviously is, well, seem to known for being less physically demanding than a man-to-man press. Great win from Park midfield. Oh.
Max Anderson with the reverse stick shot.
Up into Rose head.
Definite chance there. Park trying to cut the pitch in half. A little pop aerial to relieve. Get the ball out.
Great skills from Charlie Axford. Off he goes. Off he goes.
Adam Buckle carrying the ball out of defence, having turned the ball over.
Yeah, good hold-up play from Buckle. Oh, it's a shut up. Nice big shape. Or not. Don't know if we can get any updates from any of the other results around the country.
Yeah, I think we might try and do that at 3/4 time. Obviously, all the games today, all starting at 6 o'clock. So they should all be into the second half now.
Oxted doing well in their high line to actually get the ball in the circle. They just can't quite get that on a stick and get a finished product, and now it's allowing Surbiton, like we've just seen the last 2 or 3 minutes, just being able to counter-attack from that position with numbers. See here, we've still got that overload.
On the ball into Stewie Rushmere. Good defending there. Kept their eye on the ball.
Good play for Surbiton, that. Unlucky not to get more.
And I think Oxford have done really well to get into this top 6. It's a difficult challenge each year.
Yeah, I think they've definitely sort of more cemented themselves as a middle to top team in the Prem, haven't they?
Yeah, you know, there are 4 or 5 sides that you sort of expect each year to make the top 6.
Go in. Same again. Numbers for Surbiton.
So it's 4 on 4.
Oh, Jake.
Surbiton free hit. Carried there by Connor. Now they're in the circle, looking for a stick.
Corner.
Penalty
off the foot
corner.
of the Oxted player. Well, one from Surbiton, from Tim down the baseline. Luke Taylor on the pitch now, and Stu Rushmere from the top. Haven't said much of Jake Smith's name tonight, actually.
No, I think he's. I wonder whether he's on reduced minutes. That's number 16, Jake Smith, who's come over from New Zealand at the start of this season and joined the Surbiton side.
Good player.
He's going to inject this ball.
Nice to have him, actually. Brings a good bit of experience.
He's got the experience at international level with the Black Caps.
Double Olympian in Tokyo and Paris.
So we've got Rushmere on the first castle, Luke Taylor on the far castle.
Great flick. A Stu Rushmere classic there.
He's just stopped and
bunt.
moved.
Seen that quite a lot now. See Stu do that a few times at Pro League.
And
stop
that's
from the first
really
castle.
to change the angle.
Yeah, just to get around that first runner. Really, and also you're close to the goal. I mean, it just opens up that far right corner quite nicely. Yeah. Tough to stop when it's executed well, like that one. Great flick from Stu.
So 5 minutes to go in this third quarter. Surbiton 4, Oxted 1.
He gets a bit of stick for that flick that you can only do it off the bunt, which he will continue to get, but good to see him get on the goal sheet. Is that his second of the night?
It is.
It is.
I think it's the first penalty corner though, isn't it? The other one was...
Yeah, up right back end the last one.
Yeah.
Oof.
Taken very quickly into the circle.
Ooh.
I think James Mazzarella is going to have a word with Enku Davis there.
What did you see there? I thought that that's come off the Oxted player into his...
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see that one.
Just dangerous off the Oxted player.
The Surbiton players. Obviously we don't have the benefit of video referral, and it doesn't look as though Martin Twist's going to intervene from the other end. So it will be a penalty corner. I suggest the Surbiton players need to pad up and get ready to defend it. So just under 4 minutes to go in this quarter. Certainly a goal here would get Oxted.
Gareth Furling not happy with that decision. I think Williamson's probably their strongest threat off the penalty corner, off the first castle here.
Yeah, so it's Williamson on the first castle, Ollie Bennett on the second castle.
Likes to flick to that bottom right. Mistrap. Great ball.
Strand Walker picks it up. The break there. Jake Payton coming in on the back post if he can get his head up.
Oh, great save. Not sure whether Jake Payton got a touch on that or not, but still a great save from the Oxted keeper.
So he obviously touched an Oxted player because it's gone out for a long corner.
Yeah, I think Robbie McLean just nicks that off his pads.
That must be the 4th or 5th good save from the Oxted goalie.
Yeah, he's had a fairly good night, hasn't he?
Yeah, very good.
If you just watch the Surbiton back four when we're in this sort of position, you see how fluid it is. You see Johnny Gould move into that midfield and then back out into that full-back positioning, and then Gary, Furlong and Connor and Tim moving around a lot. Tough to defend against and press against.
Backhand opportunity there from Stuart Rushmere. I think it's gone straight out for a 16. So we're into the last 2 minutes of this third quarter. Game's gone quite quickly this evening.
Yeah, I agree. It's been an interesting one. I think Oxted could have done with trying to provide a bit more control to the game, maybe a bit more of a steady back four shape or a back three shape. With their back two, it means they've kind of had to play forward, and it means they're kind of playing Surbiton's hand of one of playing the sort of quick, intense game of hockey that we do play. But it'll be interesting how you're going into the last quarter with fitness, obviously. Surbiton boys, I know we pride ourselves on being one of the fittest in the league, so it'll be interesting to see what happens in the last fourth. Some big pockets for Surbiton to play into if they can play this quickly.
It's a long aerial, but a little bit too long.
Great leave. Oh, and again. Roy Wallace on the ball. Great tackle from Connor.
Farrington needs to be careful not to play the ball. I think that's pretty fair on the basis that the Surbiton player moved it.
Good challenge.
The end of the quarter. So Surbiton 4, Oxted 2.
Oxted 1. Sorry for the
Oxted
correction.
1. Good spot. So the season's building towards that crunch game with Old Georgians, is it, on Sunday the 23rd of March?
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting game. We struggled against them in the first half of the season at their place. I think it was a 3-0 loss actually in the end. That was a tough game. They pressed us hard, and we really struggled to get out of their press and play on the ball that night. So it'll be interesting to see how we get on this in 2 weeks' time. It's double header that weekend as well, with Wimbledon the day before, so that's a big weekend.
So that's away at Wimbledon and then here on the Sunday.
Yeah, yeah.
And then 2 or 3 weeks after that, you're both out in the Euro hockey. So do you know who Georgians have got in that competition?
I don't actually.
You've got Kampong.
Yeah, we touched on it earlier, didn't we? It's going to be a tough game out in Holland. Kampong won the Hoof class last year in the 23-24 season. So, I mean, I think they've struggled the first half of the season. Someone was...
I think they're about third or fourth.
Yeah, but I think obviously they have a lot of the Dutch national guys, so probably tough coming back from winning a gold medal and then going straight back into a league, so that might have affected that a little bit, but I think they'll be back to their full strongest sort of attitude going into that EHL, so that isn't going to be a seriously tough game. But, you know, I think we're up for the challenge. We're excited for it. But
yeah, I think it's those sort of tournaments that you want to play, isn't it? So all that action over Easter will take place at Den Bosch over in Holland. So I assume we'll go out a few days before.
Yeah, I think we're getting out on the Monday night. So,
and then depending on how long you stay in the competition,
yeah,
they'll determine when you come back.
Yeah, wander around Holland for a few days. See some of our Dutch friends.
So the team's coming out for the final quarter.
Well, Max Anderson's played really well tonight. He's been quick on the ball in that high mid position, like I was saying earlier. Looking sharp. Same with James Gould. In that high mid, they've been pretty solid to our attack tonight. I think James Gould a little bit quieter in the second half in that third quarter. Let's see if he gets back into it.
I think James Gould is one of those players that you really notice when he's not playing.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed.
And also from experience, he spent a couple of years coaching our men's second 11. And I can honestly say he's probably one of the quickest readers of the game.
Yeah, 100%.
In terms of how the other team are set up and
100%.
Not only individually man-on-man strengths and weaknesses, but you know how a team are playing.
Excellent ball from Buckle to Max Anderson. Good save again.
Okay, great goalkeeping again. Good attack there by Surbiton. Very quick down the left-hand side.
It's James Gould leading out, creating that space for Max coming into the circle. James Gould or Roger Federer, I should be calling him, really. With that headband on. Or Rafa, whatever takes fancy. More of a Roger-esque, I think.
Oh, you might say, I would say James Gould might have the passion of a Rafa, actually.
Yeah.
At certain times.
That's high praise, Rafa and Roger.
And it all comes from a headband.
Yeah.
Surbiton forcing Oxted back.
Good ball in from Max.
It was a good ball in, wasn't it? You know, very short backlift there.
Good ball down from Oxted. Well taken from Luke Taylor in the circle. Big man.
Looking for the long outlet there. Johnny Gall looking for Jake Smith. Wasn't quite able to get out wide enough to pick the ball up. So Max Anderson and Jake on the press there.
Yeah, just sharing between those two players. Again, this big back two shape from Oxted. Great ball. Allows for that big counter. Jake Smith one-on-one with the keeper. Max Anderson coming in. Oh, went with the wrong hand, Max.
I think the defender did well though. Earlier on, as they were running back together, he managed to shepherd him away from the goal and make sure that the Surbiton player was on his outside. Hasn't really got a clear sight of the ball coming across the circle then. Great break though from Surbiton. Owen Williamson with the aerial there. Tim Nurse calm under pressure. Great backhand.
Great backhand ball.
Feels as though there's a bit more space.
Yeah, it's opened up a little bit. Oxted back into their 3-4-3 zone. Oof. Harsh decision, I think, yeah. tough one to call.
I'm not sure that Charlie Axford and NQ Davis are the best of friends at this moment in time.
Great ball. From Rob Farrington back there.
Great recovery from Ollie Bennett there as well.
We'll play for Surbiton, open up the pitch again. Slowed it down there with Rob Farrington on the right. I think Surbiton's just extra yard of speed has helped them tonight a bit. And Oxted just struggling to keep up with that a tiny bit.
They seem to be able to eliminate the man and sort of break away unchallenged.
Yeah, it's even. I'd say it's also just, if you just watch this normal outlet, it's like a physical game to play. You see Barrington leading through there. It's tough to defend against when they're constantly moving, changing shape, which Surbiton have done really well tonight.
Good step from Buckle.
I feel like there's been a lot of that tonight. So, Oxted just losing that ball, and that last third has affected their outcomes massively. Able to keep the sustained pressure in Surbiton's half. I think they just needed a little bit more quality up front and a bit more composure on the ball. They've thrown it away a little bit, I'd say. Whether that's for Surbiton's good defending or Oxted a bit of a lack of quality is up to you to decide.
Aerial there from Luke Taylor, picks out Struan Walker.
Great win back from Jamet. Good crowd out tonight at Surbiton.
Yeah, there's plenty of people on the bank. It's a nice...
Probably 200-300 people maybe. Good to see.
And of course, if you can't get here to watch the game live and in the flesh, you can use the live stream.
Get to hear our beautiful voices.
So we're into the last 10 minutes now. I'm sure Barrow will be wanting the Surbiton guys to keep playing.
Great win. Great win from Jake here. Ooh.
I'm not sure from this angle. Although the players that were close by and there was no real argument. Ollie Bennett with the long aerial.
All taken down. Oh, great skill on that baseline. Could get interesting if this goes in. Make it 4-2 with 8 minutes remaining, I think it is.
Yep. So next weekend the men's ones are once again in Premier Division action here at Sugden Road with an evening game under the lights against Holcombe with a pushback at 6 o'clock. So if you can, get down to Sugden Road, come down and support that game. And if you can't, get to watch it live, watch it on the live stream, or watch it on the Surbiton Hockey YouTube channel in the weeks and days and weeks afterwards. So Tom Finnegan on the injection. Again, Owen Williamson on the first castle, Ollie Bennett on the second. Gone for a routine.
Great save.
So the initial shot there from Charlie Axford, and then he followed up on his own work.
Interesting one, that. Big slit right. Great save from Maz, but the rebound just quicker from Charlie Axford. Fair play to him. Good finish.
So as you said, could get interesting. Just over 7 minutes to play. About 7 minutes and 40 seconds when we restart. Surbiton 4, Oxted 2.
Oxted have done well, just to keep their noses in the game kind of throughout the whole thing. It's not really been a dominating performance, I wouldn't say, but I think the scoreline is probably reflective of how the game's been.
And of course the scoreline at the moment is exactly the same as the scoreline from the first weekend of the Premier League back in September. And that game ended 4-2. Looks like it's going to be a card here for Tim Nurse.
Ooh. Bit of a mix-up of decisions there. Umpire down to the bank side has given a card to that Finnegan for a swipe, but the other umpire seems to think it was lifted first, but I'm not sure which way this decision's going to go. Not happy about that card at all, not refusing to sit down there. Good to see. 10v10 now.
So currently we've got Tim Nurse off and Tom Finnegan off for Oxted. Be interesting to see what we start with.
So Oxted are complaining that it was lifted and then the fouls happened after it, so it shouldn't have been a card because they now have the free hit, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
To viewers, but if he's still done that action of the swipe, that's still a card, so I think they've probably got this right, the umpires. That ball's not nowhere near where the foul was taken there, yeah. Oxted, we fuming about that. They kind of needed that man-up pressure for the last, for 2 minutes to be able to build some pressure. Ooh.
I think that was taken on the back of the calf there as Jake Smith turned his back.
Yeah, well taken. That's a stinger in the morning, that.
So 5 minutes of the game to go.
Good receive from Pocky.
Ball across there from Stewie Rushmere. Trying to pick out Max Anderson on the back post. Didn't quite reach it. Max plays more in that sort of high midfield forward area. He might anticipate some of those.
So he came over from Ireland about, just missed from the Oxted player. He came over from Ireland and about three years ago, I want to say, to go to university in Nottingham, and he was an out-and-out forward, which he played for 2 or 3 years, and then got moved to a sort of spare fullback position, halfbacky as well.
Yeah.
And has played there for the last year and a half. But it didn't quite utilise probably one of his best assets, which is his speed. So I think he's kind of slowly moving back into that high mid, but it'll be interesting where he plays in the future and throughout the rest of the season.
Yeah, he's one of those players with, he sort of fits the Surbiton model, doesn't he, of the, great potential.
Yeah, 100%.
Just slowing the play down there, Rob Farrington stepping in, getting the stick in.
Back to 11v11 now, both cards back on. Just wonder if Stuart Walker might be injured over there. Hasn't been on for the last 5 minutes, which is unlike him. Usually quicker rotations on that top line, so I wonder what's happened there.
Yeah, he's got his tracksuit top on, I think, hasn't he?
Very well from Park. Seeing out this match well, Surbiton, I think, with a bit of solid possession. 2 minutes 30 to go, if that clock's correct.
So if I had to push you for a man of the match, who would your vote go to?
I think actually the player on the ball, Max Anderson's had a really good game. If that went in, it would have just secured his vote. I think also I mentioned James Gould had a really solid game. Those high mids have been pretty influential in this decision, but I think I'd give it to Stu Rushmere. 2 goals, a corner, and I think potentially an assist. So I mean, if you go from an outcome-based perspective, I think Stu Rushmere gets my vote for the day.
And for the visitors? Who's the standout player for the visitors?
I think the young man on the ball right now, Ollie Bennett, has been pretty influential in carrying the team forward from the back and creating some attacking opportunities for them. If you would agree?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think particularly as you've commented a few times, the way that Oxted have played, they've relied on those 2 defenders to be very solid on the ball, and they've not only done the defending well, but they've also, contributed to the play and.
It's an interesting way they've played with that big back 2 shape and sending the rest of the half-back high up the pitch, which has opened them up for a lot of counter-attacks. But I suppose it's also allowed them to create some better opportunities. And if they were going to do well tonight, they needed to go out and sort of try and win that game, which I think they've tried to do.
Yeah.
I'd say that they potentially needed to come and press a little bit harder, and also, but on the flip side of that, trying to
Buckle into the D.
Great play.
That's a great goal.
Great goal. Jake Smith finishing off.
Really good approach play by Adam Buckle though. Another of those strong runs, going round the outside and then getting into the D, getting his head up, making the connection with Jake Smith. And an international centre forward is not going to miss those opportunities.
I think he deserved that tonight, actually, Jake Smith. I said he was quiet, but I think he's been pretty unselfish in that in the circle.
He's done the work and been in the right areas.
Yeah, he deserved that at the end. Good performance from the front line of Surbiton tonight, I'd say.
Yeah, and the goals have come from different players.
Yeah.
So not the usual sort of penalty corner routine of Furlong and Taylor.
Going go for another counter there. Watch him go now. Great ball forward.
Ollie Bennett again carrying strongly forward, just reiterating the point that he made a couple of minutes ago.
Yeah, I think you just do a few more players around him carrying forward as well. Oh no.
Are they going to need Maz? Well finished.
That's an excellent goal from Oxted.
It's a great finish. I think the Surbiton will be disappointed to turn the ball over.
Too little too late with that goal that we've making it 5-2 and then sort of put the game to bed, even though with that third goal from Oxted. They'll be kicking themselves a little bit, I think.
So good to see that Struan's back on the pitch, so your injury worries may be unfounded. Always when you ask for one ball you get 2.
Yeah.
So Luke Taylor goes for the crossbar challenge.
Game just opened up, didn't it, with those 2 goals in quick succession.
There's the final whistle. End of an entertaining game. Pretty free-flowing. Surbiton 5, Oxted 3.